Kermit Zone with our very special guest star, you, the listener. Yay! It's time to fetch your headphones. It's time to check the mics. It's time to chat pop culture on the Kermit Zone tonight. It's time now for a shake-up. It's time to go sit tight. It's time to start recording on the Kermit Zone tonight. Why do we always come here? I guess we'll never know. It's like a kind of torture to have to tape the show. So now let's get things started.
Why don't you get things started?
It's time to get things started on the most sensational, conversational, observational, confrontational. This is what we call the Kermit Zone. Hey, howdy, hey, everybody. It's Up From the Depths. It's Pop Culture Talk Zone. Or maybe this is a bonus episode. Or maybe this doesn't get released. I don't know how this is going to go.
We actually haven't done a Pop Culture Talk Zone in many years. Because the last one...
because it was when I still lived in my apartment, and I have not lived in my apartment for over a year, so...
Well, we released the old ones.
True,
but we didn't re-record any.
No. But that was like... That was the pre... That was the proto... shoot, I can't remember the name of our own podcast right now. Hi, everybody. Full disclosure, this is a podcast I've wanted to record for a while since my birthday. Was the idea is that we would get drunk, which is mostly I get drunk because I'm a lightweight, and Brad is just whatever Brad is on the drink.
Having a drink.
Having a drink as a nice, responsible adult.
We should make a note that what I'm drinking is significantly more alcoholic than what you're drinking.
I had the remains of a beatbox, and I'm about a little over halfway through a Mike's Hard Lemonade, and I may have another one depending on how this goes. I don't know. Probably not. And as you can already probably tell, my language is all over the place. But I wanted to do a sort of, I guess, follow-up, but somewhat spiritual follow-up to the capitalism took my baby away. That was mostly just like a stitch and bitch about the way that has shaped our media landscape right now, and to kind of delve into that stuff. And I don't know if this is going to be interesting. This was supposed to be a little birthday present to myself. Brad has had since June when my birthday was. I asked him to have a bakabanashi planned for something funny to talk about after this, so I guess get ready for that. Hopefully that one's good as well. So we are here. I am here to vent about how frustrated I am with capitalism affecting culture. And Brad will listen and probably also feel similarly. And this may or may not be listenable. I do not know. I started grinding my axe with capitalism and culture again, listening to video game podcasts again. I had taken a break. And the thing that I got struck with the most, and maybe it affects movies, and I just don't know movies and television as much, but it probably does, is especially for video games, how many video games are made, how much money and time and effort is spent making things for no one.
Concord?
I had this idea before Concord, but Concord kind of turned into the perfect example of like people put time into that and oh my God, so much money. And it was for no one. No one wanted Concord. But there's other things I could point to.
People wanted Concord 6 years ago.
Yeah, when it was supposed to be, hey, Overwatch just came out. We're in that sort of meldy-beldy time that you could sneak something else in the way that, like, Fortnite stole... What was that other game even called?
PUBG?
PUBG.
But that's still around.
It is, but PUBG was the biggest thing, and it got its lunch stolen. Now Fortnite's the thing everybody talks about. I'm sure, like, again, I'm sure hundreds of millions of people are playing PUBG, but, like, it's not in the cultural zeitgeist anymore.
But Epic did the smart thing, not necessarily the right thing, in releasing Fortnite very, very early on.
Correct.
Not even what most people would consider a completed state. It was supposed to be a completely different game.
I was going to say, it wasn't even a battle royale. I remember I never played it a billion years ago when they were doing, like, beta tests somebody I knew gave me a code to play it, and that was back when it was like not tower defense, but it was not a battle royale game at all. And the fact that it like that is the time when you can put stuff out when the genre is still finding its feet and just take somebody's lunch. But like for the hero shooter right now, I'd say it's too late. I mean, it's about to happen. It seems like that Marvel game is going to do it.
I mean, Overwatch killed itself.
Exactly what I'm saying. Overwatch killed itself, and it seems like Marvel's going to take that lunch. But like, it's so frustrating how many of these big game companies that can make these big games are just making games for no one.
Oh, also Valve. They're doing Deadlock.
That's different, though. Because that's technically also a MOBA, a Offense of the Ancients.
That's gonna be interesting. I got an invite. I haven't played it, so
I think everybody has an invite now. But
that's the thing is like those MOBAs, the whole sort of like, you know, you're in a lane and you've got the little minions coming and everything. Like, I've never played one of those. Not a single second.
I maybe played LOL, League of Legends when I was in college, but I hate myself enough to try again.
I look at those and I go, okay, I can see something interesting here, but then I'm like, but it doesn't interest me at all. Like, I have no desire.
No. That's why Deadlock is interesting, because it's like, what is that but a shooter to an extent? So, I don't know. I should probably try it. But now with this like, Valve is... I described to a coworker recently, like, Valve is Willy Wonka. But my point is just, like, these corporate money people are like, this is popular, let's make that.
Yeah.
And when you go at it like that, that is not how you take somebody's lunch. That is not how you make something people want. I don't even know what it was, but like Sony spent hundreds of millions of dollars on a game called like Foam Stars. I don't even know what it is.
I've never heard of that.
I think it's a multiplayer shooter. It might be a Splatoon-like. I don't even know. But like, that is a game that people spent money on and time and effort and marketing that could have seeded so many B-level games that people fell in love with. And instead it made this awful generic nothing that no one wanted, and it's dying a death.
I mean, there's also something there to consider.
Anti-money. It lost them millions of dollars.
I mean, the thing is as much as we have these gigantic games that are failing, that these studios are paying millions and millions of dollars for and are just flopping, there's also more games released every single year than every previous year.
Correct.
And so when you have 10,000 games released in a year, something in there, you're going to find something in there.
Yeah, it's not about... I want to be very clear, because I've seen that discourse on the internet. Like, this is not an episode about how, like, games are garbage now. There are still incredible games coming out. I guess this is more about the AAA space, because, like, indie games are popping the F off, and I love it. But also, some of that is the problem is, like, all these big studios, because they're not being run correctly, because the money people are fucking breaking them open, are smashing open the companies. The developer, everybody working at them goes hither, thither, and yon. And now instead of one AAA big game, we have like dozens of indie games of varying quality.
Yeah.
Just polluting the market.
And I think what you touched on there, that's the big thing for me, is the whole thing where you have these gigantic investment firms or whoever, was it Embracer Group, where they just buy up all these studios, and then even if a studio releases a game and it's successful, if it doesn't continually make money hand over fist, that studio gets folded.
Yeah.
That, to
That's
me,
insane.
That is the biggest travesty, because what you're doing is not making the industry better. It's not making you money. It's literally just accounting tricks for short-term profit.
Exactly.
And
just make sometimes you're going to get duds, but like just let people make video games.
But see, that's the connection point, because this is a wider problem. You see it with a lot of the big tech companies, but you have these gigantic companies, a lot of which are just investment firms that buy up all the smaller companies. They acquire their IP, they acquire some piece of technology that they were working on, whatever, and then they fold the company. They fire most of the people. And what we have now is an economy that's growing quarter over quarter.
On nothing.
on nothing. It's literally on nothing.
And it
it's
has been
literally
for years.
accounting tricks.
It drives me insane that so many people have to lose their jobs. So many places that have made great things have just been turned into husks and gutted for nothing.
Yeah.
And they could have, like, good people were there. They could have made good things. And they have just been just so viscerally split open for an attempt to make a buck now, where it's just like, if you just kept making them make games, like, you could have made money, not hand over fist.
Right,
but
that's exactly it. They're not going to make it fast enough.
You can't make the line keep going up. It's not sustainable. And I just want to go and shake and possibly shank every person who believes the line must go up forever. God, this is why we did it so I was drunk, so like the true black bile could come out of me unabated. If I could end those people on planet Earth, I would do it. Hi, I'm drunk as well. Sorry, slander and whatnot.
So I think,
It's maddening.
Anybody who's listened to other episodes of this podcast knows my feelings on capitalism.
Yeah.
I purport myself to be a communist in theory.
We don't have the button anymore, but if we had the button, we'd put it under here of the Russian the Soviet national anthem.
Yeah. Big difference.
I'm assuming it's different now.
It is.
I would assume it's
the
Soviets anymore.
The key in all that is, like, my realistic side says capitalism can generally work for the various countries, the world, whatever. It's not ideal, but it's nearly impossible to build an ideal communism. Yeah. So, okay, let's work with capitalism. The problem is that we have so ingrained capitalism into everything that we do that we've seemingly lost the ability to hold on to the reins of capitalism and make capitalism work for humanity.
When you make a salary every year and you're in the green, that's good.
Yeah.
That's life. Like, yeah, should you be operating a company where you're constantly losing money? No, that's not a sustainable company. But the line doesn't need to keep going up. And it's just this, it's so frustrating and depressing that all these companies are in this, like, and like the graphical arms race, which is just, I mean, technically people want to keep it alive, but
it's been over for 10 years.
It's over. I'm sure these games look fine, but it doesn't matter, and most people don't even see them looking as quote-unquote nice as they are for the millions of dollars you spent. Like, people talk about, like, people might talk a little bit about graphics, but, like, graphics are not selling games anymore. No. That was something that I was thinking about recently, too, is just, like, you're not, like, seeing these things and reading about them in magazines. If you have a game you're interested in, you go to YouTube or Twitch and you watch somebody just play the fucking game directly. Like, there's no, like, look at how pretty these screenshots are. We have such easy access to be able to see how these games work or not. Is the gameplay fun? Does it run well? That's what I care. Like, is it a fun game to play? Is it meaningful? Like, I don't give a shit about graphics if those other two things aren't true. I don't care how pretty something is. If I want pretty CG, I can watch a movie.
Well, good luck with that anymore.
Also true, too. That's its own...
But there's a similar line there, is you have these VFX shops that are being pushed by the Hollywood studios to pump out stuff as quickly and as cheaply as possible. And so you get mediocre things coming out.
Because content. Yep. No sense of quality, no sense of making art, no sense of making anything. I don't even want to do lowercase or capital art. We don't even need to go that far. Making something for someone.
Yeah.
Truly. And it's just like, no, content. And it's the problem now of just like, because of streaming and everything, and I think that's good to an extent, because I think it's good to have access, I guess. There is all that there was before, all that there is now, and all that there will be. There are these games, there's Fortnite and stuff that runs infinitely, fighting against everything coming out constantly, more and more things constantly coming out.
But also
everything in your backlog.
Because you have games companies that build all these games that require internet access, and then they go and shut the servers down. This is the whole Ross Scott thing with the Stop Killing Games movement.
Also that. But also people need to be playing them, and they're playing a billion other different things because there's these games that just go endlessly. And, like, maybe it's because I'm not a part of those. Like, I don't think I ever could be. My attention span is too short. I get tired of things too quickly to be a part of something like that. I will at some point inevitably move on to something else. So, like, I can't fathom that, but it's just, like, the big companies, less and less you get, like, Space Marine 2 coming out and generally just being a fucking 360 game. The fact that that was, like, a victory of AAA gaming this year, like, I played it. I'm glad I played it. But it's sad that a 360 game coming out untouched by meddling that much is a triumph.
Hey, Arrowhead reverted those Helldiver 2 changes.
No. It's not about people listening to people. It's the fact that, like...
But there's that.
It is, to an extent, but it's just... It's like... I like Space Marines too. I don't love the heck out of it. It's not the most amazing thing. Like, I'm playing freaking, hopefully a lot cheaper game of, like, Lost in Random that I did not hear about until I found it on Game Pass, which we will get to Game Pass and streaming in a moment. Or at some point today. But it's like that... Lost in Random has meant much more to me than Space Marine 2, and I paid $60 for Space Marine 2, and technically I didn't pay... I paid the monthly Game Pass price to play Lost in Random, which I think it was probably around maybe 20, 30, 40 bucks. I don't think it was like full price. And that has been a game, very clearly not the most graphical marvel. Gameplay can be kind of jank at times. Infinitely more compelling to me than most AAA games coming out right now. I think it's made by... I don't know. I don't think I knew any of the games they made. I think it's in, like, Sweden or one of those. It's like a company that joined up with a company that now makes or has been making the SteamWorld games. They're like collectively like Thunderful. I think is it Thunderful? That sounds wrong. It's Thunder something. Like publishing. It's like two companies or a couple different companies that came together. And it's like, here's a game, Lost in Random, made by people trying to make something for someone. And I never even heard of it. I don't know. It makes me sad when there's, like, games that, like, failed that, like, when people actually find them amidst everything are like, this is really good. I gestured greatly at, just because I finally finished the DLC recently. What's it called? It was a Marvel game made by the XCOM people. Midnight Suns. Midnight Suns, besides looking like a fucking 360 game. I love that game. Gameplay is great. Character interactions are great. Stories, what, like, it was just like a really good, compelling video game that was like just, and like, people slept on it super hard, myself included, because it looked like just a freaking Marvel cash-in game, and it wasn't. People with, like, drive, and, like, we're probably never getting a Midnight Suns 2, even though, because everybody found it too late when it was on sale, but in the beginning everybody was all bitchy about it. It's like, oh, it's a freaking deck builder. And, like, it is, but not like that. It's not a Marvel cash-in game. Like, it's genuinely really good, and a lot of people put a lot of heart into it. And it sucks to see stuff like that die. But also just... I go back to these giant games made for nobody. You could have spent that money making 3 actual video games, and even if only one of them landed, you could have made something, as opposed to nothing.
Yeah.
Because you can't... if you are just trying to ape somebody's style and nothing else, you can't steal their lunch. I don't think that's possible. If all you were trying to do is ape somebody else's style and there's nobody going, we're doing this but with this, and admittedly for the Marvel one, it's just, we're doing third-person Overwatch with Marvel characters. Sure, fine, whatever the fuck, you get your money. But it's like, there's something that there is a video game when somebody who likes playing video games hears about it or sees a trailer, they get excited and they go, that's a video game I want to play.
I think...
And it feels so simple of a sentence to say, and it seemingly is not to this fucking industry we're in.
I think making media, whether it's video games or comics or movies or TV shows, it works best when the people making it aren't trying to make something for everyone.
Yes.
And I think all of the big stuff that we're seeing fail right now is because you have the executive order of make this thing that will make money. And in order to do that, we need to make something that everyone will want. But when you make something for everybody, you make something for no one.
Did you know that if you took the measurements for an average American and then made like, I think this was a military thing, and made like oh, this is the like cockpit of like a tank or a helicopter. Nobody fits in it comfortably.
Yeah.
Because nobody is the average American. I feel like that kind of overlaps here. Admittedly, that's a very different concept.
No,
it's that thing. It's like when you make it for everybody, you make it for no one because it's not anything.
And there is some responsibility that I need to lay on the feet of the general public with this. Yes. Because this is discourse that we keep seeing online all the time when people talk about all these various forms of media, is they find something that isn't for them and they bitch to high heaven about it instead of going, oh, this isn't for me, and moving on.
Exactly.
To be fair, it's something we're all, except for me, guilty of doing. But because I think it's something easy to fall into. But if the wider conversation stays that way, if you don't have people going, hey guys, hold on, this isn't for you, this is for this person or that person, then you're gonna end up with the same generic schlop every single time.
Yeah, I mean, it's the money people going, make this makes money. You can make that too, right? With these multiplayer games that people spend hours and hours of their lives on, it's like, why would they have any reason to change what they were playing? Unless you have a big enough freaking lore to whatever you made. And it's like, and obviously, like, I hate that I have to do this, but it's obvious. It's just like, of course the devs tried on, I already forgot its name, the hero shooter that died that we referenced at the beginning. Concord. Fruit flies live longer than Concord, by the way.
Liz Truss.
Like, devs tried. People tried.
Less than half a Scaramouche.
It's a Scaramouche.
It's the one Trump the talky person.
Oh,
communications director.
When I hear Scaramouche, I'm reminded of, speaking of not long-lived things, I'm reminded of when Samurai Jack came back and there was a robot played by Tom Kenny doing like, I don't think it was Liberace, but like some like gay rocker from the 60s.
Elton John?
I don't think it was Elton John. It was more, this is awful. I'm also drunk. That does not give me a pass on what I'm about to say, even though I'm not going to say anything that terrible.
Buckle up.
What's the like Las Vegas black guy that like Sinatra was like, he's okay? Maybe him. I don't know. I could be wrong. I could Google it on my phone, which is currently in arm's reach. But he was like, it's all about me, babe. Whoever talked like that, because I don't think that's Elton John.
No, that's...
But I don't think that's Liberace either. But I think it's that guy, who I can't think of right now. You know, he'd always end anything with babe. Oh my gosh, this wiki is way too long.
Sammy Davis Jr.
Sammy Davis Jr. only had one eye. Was he only in one episode? Was that episode? Oh, season 5. Sorry, he was in like 2 episodes, maybe 3. Oh my gosh, wiki people are insane.
That's
Fandom.com can suck my dick non-sexually. He's among the most popular enemies Jack has encountered, so says this Wikipedia page. Yep, Scaramouche speech pattern is based on late American singer Sammy Davis Jr. I knew I was right by that for some reason in my subconscious. But it's so, another example, freaking, what is it, Skull and Bones by Ubisoft, which was literally just made to con money out of, what is it, Hong Kong?
That's still going on, though.
What do you mean it's still going on?
They're still releasing content for it.
Nobody's playing that game. Nobody's playing that game.
Although they might be, I think they said till the end of the year.
They're legally obligated for this entire hype. But also Ubisoft might be dying and being bought. Who knows? It's just... Fun fact. Literally, hero of the day, I don't even remember what the company's name. I know Sega's the main company. I don't remember what the actual like dev company is. The new Yakuza game coming out, where Majima's a pirate, has boat combat in it. They just put out a trailer for it. It's like, here's the old standby, the Yakuza games, made for, I don't know, but everybody loves them. I'll play that freaking pirate Majima game. Hell yeah, that sounds super fun. Like, that is a video game when I see that trailer and I go, that's a video game.
Yeah.
And I want to play it. And I got excited. And that's exciting to be excited about things, because all these things making trailers, they're not games that are exciting. Like, video games, I don't think we've. I mean, maybe. I guess it's mostly in the indie space, but it feels like it's been ages since a AAA game with all of its budget, with all of its high-level developers and mocap and all this stuff has made a game that genuinely technically wows me. Because it's not going to be the graphics that do it. It's going to be other concepts. It is a fucking travesty that the Nemesis system is a copyrighted thing that now just gets to die, and that pisses me the fuck off. But also, we haven't gotten anything like the Nemesis system, where just somebody spent a lot of time and effort making a video game thing in a AAA studio that was unlike anything I had ever seen before. That wasn't just like, oh, the light that goes through this character's pores in cutscenes or in-game cutscenes. Fuck off! That is not going to make me love a game more. Like...
But have you seen The Last of Us 2 remake?
Oh, fuck! Sony! If I want to play the Sly Cooper games, I have to plug my PS3 in and figure out how the fuck the wire to charge that shitty controller works. Goddamn re-release those in the Ratchet and Clank games on your virtual store. You will make money. People love those games. Like, that's when I think, that's when I get really heated. It's like, I'm fine with you guys making money. Why are you doing these things where you're spending $1 million on things that will not make you money? They had the fucking, what was it, Until Dawn, like, HD reification, which they didn't, like, advertise at all, and it's doing supposedly worse than Concord. That game does not need that! You just re-release it like normal with a little marketing pack. Like, it did not need a big tune-up. Why are you spending money making games that people experience? Like, go back further. There's a lot of Sony properties people would love to still play.
Hey, you know
that you could just make, really, literally, just re-release. I mean, maybe this is just me talking. Re-release the Sly Cooper HD collection. Re-release the Ratchet and Clank HD collection. Maybe just give them a spit and polish. You know, maybe a little bit.
There's a precedent for this because the Spyro. The first 3 games, they released those in a collection.
That was meaningful.
It was updated, better.
Did that not do
textures.
well?
It was amazing.
Yeah,
I don't know about sales.
That's what they care about. But I think
that came out.
I own that. That is a physical media that exists in my home, and I cannot say that about a bunch of other games I like more.
When that came out, I literally sat there and played through all 3 games.
They're great. Just do that to your other old things, Sony. Make the Ape Escape trilogy. I don't give a fuck about that, but just do it.
There's a component of nostalgia there because I was in my formative years when I was playing Spyro.
Yeah.
But like also it was really well done.
Yes.
And just playing those again, everything fell into place and it was all right.
You know what the next generations love? Nostalgia from the generation before them. And it sounds like I'm being sarcastic, but I'm not, because I grew up listening about all the things that happened in the 80s and the early 90s before I was alive or cognizant. And if
I was there, Kermit. I was there 2,000 years ago.
But my point is, it's just like, these are good games. If you re-release them, there's entire generations who haven't played them. Zoomer's not gonna have a fucking PS3 and know to play the Sly Cooper games, but like, we are nostalgic about it. Our generation or further on, the Gen Xers, we will get online as our fucking YouTubers and VTubers and whatnot and talk about it. And we'll buy it and play it, and they'll go like, I want to check that out. Like,
meanwhile, Nintendo reserves the right to release their games that you have to rebuy for $50 without any updates at all.
Exactly. Just give me the ability. Like, again, I would love to play the Sly Cooper games again. I don't want to plug in my PS3. I really don't. If I could have those on another console and God Hand, I would freaking pile drive that thing directly into the dumpster.
By the way,
not even sell it. Just dumpsterize it.
Aren't we due for another 3D Mario like adventure game?
Switch 2 is coming. What was it called?
There hasn't been Odyssey 2 isn't a thing, right?
No. It's weird that it didn't, but I guess not. I think they're working on Switch 2 stuff. I'm trying to remember. The game podcast I listened to, Castle Super Beast, was talking about that in the Pokemon leak. The code name for the Switch 2 was amongst the leaked documents, but I don't remember what it is now off the top of my noggin.
I was just the other day, I was just thinking, I haven't played a good 3D Mario adventure
since Odyssey.
in a while.
It keeps you hungry. Nintendo,
And I love
for
those.
all of their old man faults, Nintendo is the one company making video games.
Yeah, they just need to
They
tone
just
it down in the lawyer department.
They just make video games. And sometimes they're an old man and I have to deal with it. But they just fucking make a video game for people. And
for children, but yeah, children are people.
Children are people sometimes. And it's just like, Sony, could you do that instead of like, and maybe this is somebody who's just like, I don't like The Last of Us. I tried The Last of Us 1 years after everybody was glowing about it. I didn't think it was that good of a video game or that compelling. It doesn't need to be re-released 3 times. This isn't fucking GTA 5, which also I don't like that much, which whatever, who cares? But it's just like, why are you remaking what was it, Horizon Zero Dawn? A generation after it came out. How much better can it look? Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. It's like, it's annoying when these big companies who have this money are making things just nobody gives a shit about. Like, who are these for?
Oh, but Red Dead Redemption releasing on PC.
Red Dead Redemption coming to PC is a thing, though. That is a thing. I'm not going to say that's not a thing.
Yeah.
That is an old video game that we have not had meaningful access to in 2 generations coming into a more accessible form.
Is it 2 or is it 3?
Xbox.
This is on the 360, right?
Yeah, PS3 era. So PS3, PS4, PS5.
I guess we're still, it's still PS5.
What do you know about a PS6?
Well, I mean, they just released the PS5 Pro, so.
Yeah, nobody's buying that shit. There's another one. Like, I was, Brad, you've heckled me on this, even if you didn't mean to do it. I was somebody that said, because I did it last generation, I was really happy with myself. I'm not going to buy the PS5. I'm going to wait for the Pro to come out.
Yep.
And I'm going to buy that because there's enough of my backlog I still need to make it through. And now that the PS5 has been announced and the PS5's Pro's been announced and the PS5's General's catalog has been out, there's nothing on it that I want to play because either I don't give a shit or it's on PC. But also most of it is just I don't give a shit. Or also they released some of the PS4. I played the God of War games. I literally have a physical copy of whatever the heck the Horizon Zero Dawn sequel is called. Literally just hours ago, Resident Evil 4 Remake landed on my porch. And I've been playing Helldivers on my PC with the new beefy PC I bought to play Helldivers. You have to make things people want to play, to buy your console to play the games.
Yeah.
But first you have to make games that people either haven't played or can't play anywhere else.
You know, it used to be.
You wait. Like, I'm okay with you double dipping on PC. Wait a long time.
Yeah. It used
or have
to be
something. Like, it's wild that Bloodborne is just so locked. Everybody is literally crawling at the walls for Bloodborne being released literally anywhere, and Sony's like, fuck you.
I'm sure Bloodborne is going to get the Red Dead Redemption treatment where it's like,
no, fuck you.
Well,
fuck you.
Well, what's happening is now I haven't heard anything about this, but what I suspect is in the same way they went into Red Dead Redemption's code and they went, oh my God, there's no way we can port this to PC because it's spaghetti. And so they basically had to sort of like rebuild it.
But all the other Dark Souls games and Elden Ring are on PC, and almost assuredly Bloodborne is written on one of those engines.
Maybe.
It's just Bloodborne.
You know, it used to be that a game company would release a console and they would sell the console for like significantly less than they were actually building it for.
Except for Nintendo. Nintendo sells it at an up somehow, but because they're always a generation behind in their hardware spec.
Right.
And you know what? Fair fucks to them.
But then what they would do is they would make their money up in the sales of the software.
Yes.
Because you have to pay a license to Sony or Microsoft or whoever to put your game on their console. And so when they promote that software, they're going to get money back from that. They're going to make that up on the loss from their consoles. They're not really doing that anymore. And so when you look around and you go, okay, what PS5 exclusives are there? It's like,
Demon's Souls, which I don't give a shit about, and Spider-Man 2 that will come to PC at some point because Spider-Man 1 and Miles Morales did, and that's the only other... Ratchet and Clank, whatever the Ratchet and Clank PS5 game, is on PC. I didn't even know that until recently. That's mad. That's insane.
I need to get those.
That thing has been locked as Ratchet and Clank. I didn't even know that happened until recently. That's wild.
Those 3D platformers, I'm into that.
That's what's wild. I mean, obviously I didn't play it. I don't have a PS5, but like everybody in the gaming industry going like, hey, Astro Bot, good time. Yeah. It's just a fucking video game people like. What a thought. What a concept. I could use a little Astrobot myself. That is the first game that's coming on PS5 that I couldn't get at, that I'd be like, I don't want to play that. That seems cool. Would I probably like it? No.
I did hear someone complaining because all the little bots look like characters from other games, you know?
It's the point.
And
it's a celebration.
Except none of them have their actual name or the game that they're from. They just have some name that like alludes to what it is.
Yeah, it's an Easter egg.
And this one guy was complaining because he's like, I have to go and look up what these are.
That's great. That's fun. It's fun to do that.
He said he was playing through it and he like 100%ed it. And like the very last one that you get is supposed to be like, oh, this is your special friend or whatever. And it's supposed to be this big reward. And he shows up and he's like, I have no idea who this is.
It's just like these re-releases. It's just like there are things that I want re-released that
By
people
the way,
in general want re-released.
It was the onion karate guy from Parappa the Rapper.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Chop Master Onion is the end as he teaches you to punch, kick. It's all in the mind. Kick, punch. It's all in the mind.
That was back when they made games you want to play.
Yeah, which is funny. I love the Parappa the Rapper songs. Can't play them. The timing on the rhythm game, awful, terrible. Maybe for CRTVs, do not know. Timing is terrible. I'm good at rhythm games. I know those songs backward and forward. Cannot play them for the life of me.
You gotta play it on PC and tweak your settings.
That's a good point.
Which brings me to get a PC because you can play everything. Because you can emulate stuff. Now,
you can emulate stuff. Everybody's releasing all their stuff on there.
Some stuff is difficult to emulate.
Yes.
And so it's not quite fair to say that you can emulate everything. But especially with what Nintendo's doing, where they're paywalling all their old games that they haven't changed at all.
You can play them. I played Chibi Robo, an emulator with an HD texture pack so it looks nice and shiny. And you can just do that. You can
a game that they have not re-released, but maybe they should.
Highly expensive to buy physically. Never re-released. GameCube has a bunch of bangers on it. And cult classics that have not seen the light of day since. And you could make... I don't need to yell at Nintendo the things I need to yell at about Microsoft and Sony. Because Microsoft and Sony are just constantly shooting themselves in the foot and going, who shot Hannibal? And it pisses me the fuck off. Because it's like, I want you guys to make money because that means people get to make a living and make things. And you're just not doing that. You just keep making decisions that it's like, you're not going to make money. Who thought this? Who said this was the thing that we need to do to make money? There are things that you can do that are cheap and easy that maybe some people will click their tongues at. That will generally be fine and make you money. And the fact that you're not is just maddening. I want to talk about Game Pass and streaming, but first I want to get another drink. So while you're thinking about PC and playing what you want, I don't know if you want to keep talking at the people. I get my beverage, but that's when I come back to it. I'm going to come out with fire and brimstone about fucking, if it's about capitalism and about making money, then don't fucking do that. So yeah, BRB.
All right, everybody. I'm going to do an ad spot then.
We gotta make some money.
So you've definitely heard me talk about Sugoi Mart before. And Sugoi Mart has lots of cool stuff, and you should definitely check them out. If you use code APR15, or you can click the link in the description of this episode, you can get 15% off your first order. I would like to thank everyone who has done that so far. I guess those people can't get 15% off anymore because it won't be your first order, but we do appreciate everybody doing that. Today I have a lemonade cake. I'm going to eat it. Oh, that's tasty. It's like a pound cake, but it's very lemon. In case you can't tell, Kermit is very drunk. It might not be obvious because he's about the same level of volume as normal, but I can tell. All right. We're going to get back into the rants now. So there's one thing that we need to make clear. As I mentioned before, capitalism, not the only form of economic governance that's available. However, there's a way to make capitalism work for people.
Yeah.
The biggest problem that we have with capitalism, in my opinion, is the concept of the stock market.
Forever.
In having
the forever money.
this public ownership that is literally having people be legally obligated to make profit quarter over quarter.
Yeah. Make line go up.
Number go up, no matter what.
Just so clearly not sustainable.
And I know that this is a scary word for some people, but the answer here is democratic socialism.
Yeah.
You need a system whereby people can still own things, people can still have their companies and everything, but the large institutions, your healthcare, your transportation, all that kind of stuff is government run so as to be as equitable as possible for as many people as possible. And the idea of public ownership of, holding interest in a company needs to be severely cut back in order to only have that apply to companies where it makes sense. You can still do your private equity, but within private equity, there is not the same onus of quarter over quarter profit growth.
Yes, because it feels like things are being made for the board, which is a bunch of ghoul humans, and not the actual people taking it in. Media being made was always made to make money. I'm not going to try to be cutesy and say that wasn't always the case even when I was a kid.
But in a lot of cases, it's a side effect.
Fucking alive.
Someone is making some art that they want to make, and also they can make money off of it.
Well, they're trying to make it make money, but never just like the money people weren't the ones driving from square one. And that's what's so frustrating. There's all these giant money bombs coming out that weren't made for anybody, that things feel like they're being made for the board and not
again,
even necessarily for me. Just
even the
people.
stuff that doesn't fail. The things that actually make a profit, if they don't make as much of a profit as was forecasted, that studio still gets shuttered. It doesn't make any sense.
Square Enix making Final Fantasy Remake 2, whatever the fudge it's made, Rebirth. That second one, despite being more expensive than the first one, made less than the first one. Which I think is just people making games not using their brains. The sequel never sells as much as the original.
Yeah.
Why would you spend more money? And also, now that people have played it, know what it is, there's more people that know or don't know, know that they don't like it or not. You're going to have a smaller audience. Why would you spend more money? Also, it doesn't help it's exclusive for the PS5 for a long time. And it's just I'm just some random Joe Schmo on the street, Joanna Schmo, whatever. That's really obvious to me. It's super obvious. And if you want to you can make moves to make money. Again, that's the thing. It's I don't want to get in your way to making money.
I do a little bit.
A little bit, but that's what I think. Why this was the germination seed of this episode months ago. Was just starting to listen.
Might have been over a year.
What?
Might be over a year.
No, it was back. I mean, I guess it was leading up into June when my birthday was, but it was me. It was some of it was also me starting to listen to Castle Super Beast again and getting keyed into video game news again. But make disgusting choices, but at least make choices that'll make money and not these just insane, just crime happenings. Could you just make something instead of just making garbage to supposedly satisfy the board members? I'm not asking for every game needs to be a cult classic like Psychonauts, but just could we try to make a thing that people like and buy? Is that such a weird, far-fetched request to have?
I'm not entirely against companies churning out things just to try and make money off of a wider audience.
That's fine. The Yakuza games come out almost every year. There is 1 billion of them, and people love that series because they make games people want to play.
What I need to stop
happening... And they also reuse a fuck ton of assets because they are smart developers.
What I need to stop... What needs to stop happening is all these people getting fired all the time.
Also that.
Because the thing that they made didn't make quite enough money.
Hi-Fi Rush. Jesus Christ, Hi-Fi Rush.
Because what happens, you have a game that's coming out, and whatever CEO or whoever in that company goes, we're forecasting this to make this much profit. They take that to the board. They say, this is what we're forecasting. The game comes out. If that game does not reach that forecast, the stock price goes down.
Oh, that's another
It doesn't matter that it made money.
Yep.
It didn't meet the forecast. And so in order to make up that downturn in that stock price, they fire people.
Yep.
Because, now less overhead, stock price go up.
Stock price go up. That reminds me. It's the not even just the making of the games. It's the fact that the board is always fucking listening, that nobody gets to talk like a human anymore. All the stuff that happened when all those Xbox like presentations came out. Like Xbox is a dying, fire-filled ship. Bless Double Fine. Bless them. I don't know if they get to live through that ship burning. I don't know who's gonna take them. Like that's the thing. Is like I don't know where these companies go if nobody's gonna help them. But it's like nobody gets to talk like a human anymore because you have to talk for the legalese for the board. Because otherwise it's gonna be like, hey. It's exhausting. It's exhausting to have things made through you and to have talk that's supposedly for you through you. All of the verbiage that came out of this Xbox, whatever the heck it was a couple months ago, sickens me because it's not for anyone.
Well,
it is dialogue for no one. It is not meaningful. There is no kernel of humanity and actual truth and emotion inside of it. We are being talked through.
I will say, though, like if you think about E3, which, rest in peace.
R.I.P.
But all those conventions and stuff were originally industry conventions. They weren't for fans to go to and see announcements. They were for the industry people, the board members, whoever, to go to and be talked to. And so we had this weird middle ground for a while where fans started going to that. And so people started catering to the fans in those conventions. And then now after COVID, they're back to, we're just going to put something out. But they're in this weird quasi space where they're like, we're going to put on a show as if it was for fans.
But it's not for fans.
But
it's not for reviewers. It's for the board.
Yeah.
And that's why I keep saying it's like I'm being talked through. This thing that is supposedly that you're saying is for me, the royal me, not me individually, is not. It's pretend. It is hot air for a group of 12 moneyed, I'm going to assume white fuckers sitting in a boardroom twiddling their fucking thumbs that I'd like to cut all their thumbs off. Hi, I'm on my third drink of tonight. And I think that's even more than games not being made, quote unquote, for me, the royal me, we, you, us, having all of this bluster being just through us, being meaningless babble.
That
I'd rather you fuck up. I'd rather old E3 Ubisoft things where they were cringe as fuck because they were trying to talk to someone.
It makes me wonder, is there any consumer, is there any customer, someone who plays video games who is actually like, I can't wait for the new live service game?
I don't know.
So that I can give them...
I don't know those fucks, but I don't think so.
Maybe give them money up front. Maybe it's free, but I want to pay them $20 month after month for whatever season pass content pack that's coming out in perpetuity, even though I'm doing the same grinding over and over again, day in, day out. I have to log on and get my dailies.
Yep.
Like, I understand those people are playing those and like them.
Those people already have their game.
Right.
That's my thing at the beginning of all this. They already have their game. You can't just put out something of similar or worse quality that has no new thing. When you hear about it as a human being, when you hear about a concept and go, oh, that sounds cool. Like that's something that's been with me just these last 2 weeks have just been like, it's exciting when there's a video game where I hear about it and I go, that's a cool idea. And not just like, oh, we're doing a thing from before again, but different and new. And it's like, I do appreciate that. I like those. I like my nostalgia of the GameCube era being catered to every so often. I'm not going to lie. But it was just like all the freaking Yakuza Majima Pirate stuff. It's like, that looks and sounds cool. That looks like a video game I wish to take into my body. And it just, I wish we could have those again, where things were excited. As not as middling as it is, the Nemesis system in those Lord of the Ring games is really cool. That's exciting when you hear about that and you see the screenshots in the little video trailers. That is an exciting video game thing. A Last of Us 1 or 2 remake already is not exciting, literally at all.
You know, those the Shadow of War games, I love the first game. And I played the second one, and I loved it right up until the point where it was like, now keep doing this same thing over and over again for a while.
That was, we had the same experience.
And I went,
but Command Gianni's in it. It's a special orc you can only get sometimes. Which was nice, admittedly.
I don't want to play this as a live service game. I don't want to play it as a multiplayer game or whatever the heck they were trying to do.
Yeah.
I liked what you had. Finish this fucking story.
Just make a single-player game. You won't make all the money now, but you will just slowly make money forever if it's a good time, because there keeps being more people and they keep wanting to play video games. And if it's good enough and people talk about it, they'll go play it.
Yeah.
Okay, this has been going on for a while. I need to talk about streaming and streaming games especially, but also just streaming. I have stopped. I still listen to Castle Super Beast. I've stopped listening to my Disney News one. It is insane to me how these money people think streaming makes money. I don't understand it. Gaming streaming, I pay for Game Pass right now. I love it. It's a great service. I have gotten so much value out of it, but the developers sure haven't. I pay, what, $10, $12 a month? There are multiple games that cost $20, $40, $60 that I just didn't pay because I'm paying $12 a month for Game Pass, and I play them within the month, and then I am done. And even if it took me 2 months... I played Lives of P until almost the end, until I said, fuck this is too hard, fuck this game. And I played at least 3 other games from Game Pass that month, if not more. That means if we're literally just treating my, $12, $15 that I paid for that month for Game Pass, for the 4 or 5 games that will say 5 games at $15, that means the people who made Lives of P got $3 out of me.
Yeah, I have no idea how Game Pass makes anybody money.
That's what I like. Streaming in general. Disney kept going, we're going to make Disney Plus profitable. No, the fuck you aren't. You used to make money selling DVDs and people going to theaters and people paying money to digitally rent your things for at least $5. And now for 2 $5s, maybe 3 $5s, you got all of it the entire month.
Netflix,
where you make no extra money.
Netflix tricked everybody.
Netflix tricked the money idiots to think they could make money off. Netflix isn't even making money reasonably.
Well, so the whole way that the companies like Netflix are supposed to make money is by increasing their membership month over month.
Which won't happen. There's a cap.
Yeah, exactly.
I left Netflix because they were shitty. And because I used to share it with my family. I was the one paying for it amidst my family across 3 households. And when they said, we're checking your IP address now, you can't do that anymore, I said, fuck you, and I stopped. And then I signed up for One Piece live action to show my support, and then I unsigned. And everything else I pirate.
Now, to be fair, Netflix and Disney Plus,
Paramount.
Crunchyroll, I actually use Crunchyroll.
Crunchyroll's fine. I like Crunchyroll.
So,
I mean, I don't like that it's a monopoly in that sort of way that we don't like that the rainforest is being destroyed, but we don't think about it really. But
someone else needs to do something about it, and I will support them.
Yeah, but
I can't do anything about it.
That's not my fire. I know. This is how part of this podcast is how ineffectual we are about being able to do anything about this.
As far as I'm concerned, Netflix and Disney are making money off of me because I pay for Netflix and Disney Plus month after month.
They're making they're losing money. That's not the green.
I don't watch anything.
Because they keep that's the idea, that's the supposed profitable idea of that. But the problem is that whether you pay money or not, they still have to keep making new shows. They have to keep paying a lot of money to get you to show up, but you're not paying that much more. They can't make you pay more to come back for the 3rd season of The Mandalorian. They can keep raising prices, but they're not going to reasonably make more to make you come back. They can't get because a household wants to watch a Disney movie. It's on streaming. They're paying $12 to $15 a month. Back when they had to go to the theater, they had to pay that for every single member of the family. Right. Maybe a little less because of inflation and whatnot. or they had to wait for the DVD to come out where they paid, what, $20 to $40 for it?
And maybe if you think
and
about
that was
it,
one movie. This is the entire fucking catalog of Disney, the entire fucking catalog of Marvel, all of Discovery, all of Pixar.
from that perspective,
It's insane.
maybe it is worth it.
How do you think more people?
My son watches it.
Yeah,
so.
but he's not paying money. He's not an.
No, but if you think about it from the standpoint of what that media would have cost before the streaming services.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not consuming it, even though my wife isn't consuming it, he watches 2-3 movies.
But it doesn't matter how
month.
much he watches. He could watch one movie. He could watch 50 movies, and he'd still only pay whatever you're paying of $12 to $15.
Right. No, I'm saying for me.
Yeah.
That's a good deal for me.
As a consumer, these are great deals, but they're not financially sustainable.
Right.
And that's why the ads are seeking in. Because that was something else I thought about. It's like TV used to work to an extent because they were ads that were specific times that were respectable. Hi, this may be a little drunk me talking even more where I'm not considering other things where it's like stop being a fucking boomer. But it's like, I mean, I guess in certain places there's respectable ads. I mean, the phone area, and I guess luckily, like, we are both fucking chads in that, or maybe idiots, that we pay for YouTube Premium, and I just don't, like, between YouTube Premium and Spotify, I just don't experience ads into my life.
Yeah.
Like, I've only recently experienced ads because I've been going on Twitch to watch a couple people, and occasionally I will see ads.
People will say to me, "Oh, that new political ad," and I'm like, "What?"
I don't see it. There was one time...
What do you mean? It's everywhere.
There was one time I went to an alt account on YouTube and got a political ad that I had no idea what it was trying to say.
Oh, sometimes...
Did I send that to you?
Maybe.
I don't think I did. I should have done that. It was like a granddad and his grandson fishing in a boat, and I had no idea what it was trying to say.
You did tell me about that.
Okay, I did. Yeah.
Sometimes I will walk past my wife. She's sitting there on her computer watching YouTube, and I look over and it's an ad playing, and I'm like, "You're signed out again." And she's like, "Oh yeah." And I'm just like, what are you doing that you don't notice that there's ads
My
playing?
life is infinitely better because I don't have to experience ads, especially on YouTube where I know they are just slop.
But you know what? I love that model. I would love to always have 2 tiers for any kind of thing where you can go, you can pay little to nothing, and you get this, and you can watch these ads in order to have that.
Because that generates revenue to make the site go, which I'm fine with. I get that.
You can sign up for the premium one, and you get no ads. I love that model, and I don't understand why so many people are against that. You know, when Facebook was talking about, like, oh, we're going to have this model where you can pay us and there won't be any ads on here. And I was like, that's great. And everybody else is like, that's terrible. It's like, why?
Well, no, because
you can still have your normal one.
We get used to that this was a service being offered to us that didn't have all these ads
but you
before.
Don't,
Now it does.
You don't have Facebook without ads right now.
Exactly, because there's nothing else to make. That's what makes the money with it, or else your data's getting sold, which it's getting sold anyways, so whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, and also I just have ad block stuff, so I just don't see ads, so just, like, whatever. Not the point. But, like, that's, like, kind of the thing with it. But, like, my life is better because I don't need to see ads constantly. Like, the amount of YouTube that I watch, like, you were the one, because you are doing premium. I think I learned it from you over quarantine.
I learned it by watching you.
Exactly, but in a good way. I learned it by watching you respectful, for brackets respectful. And my life is infinitely better for not having to constantly waste it on dumb shit that I will never buy. You know what is the most effective ads for me? Every so often I go back onto Instagram and it shows me all these clothing items that are probably cheaply made that I want that I know I shouldn't buy. They're too expensive. They were furry hoodies that I was very tempted, but also like everybody in the ads looked like white supremacists, and I said, no, thank you.
Not the good furries like you want.
Well, yeah, truth. They didn't look like furries. It was like when you see the animal motif, it's either furries, which means wonderful gay, and sometimes it's like alpha male, yeah. And
there's
I'm like,
a bunch of Nazi furries for some reason. I don't understand.
It's the same. It's the thing with I talk to people when I talk about my time in the brony community. It's like everybody branched from there, and you either became queer or you became a white supremacist. There was very little middle ground. And if you're middle ground, I probably don't want to talk to you, which is
what does a queer white supremacist do?
Stay in the closet, I guess. I don't know. have a lot of self-loathing.
A lot of those furry Nazis are not in the closet.
No, it's
And I just
strange.
go, how do you attend rallies and stuff? I don't understand.
I don't get it. They have their own rallies, which, whatever. The world doesn't make sense. But yeah, Game Pass in particular, it's just like, you guys keep not making money, but you're making this thing that, while a wonderful value to the consumer, is an awful financial situation for you, the company running the streaming service, and every company underneath you trying to get money out of that. Like, how much money is, like, do they get money every time somebody plays it, every time somebody downloads it? Like, $12, $15 is not enough to split across the games that I am playing on Game Pass.
But I think that's how it would work, is that if someone downloads it and potentially plays it in that
pennies,
they get part of that.
But that's not, it's not like Spotify where it's like, you can stream a bunch of songs. It's like, I'm playing maybe 2 to 3 games on Game Pass a month, if that. That's nothing money. I'm one human amidst many. And I know a bunch of people. What if somebody has Game Pass and they don't play any games? Where does that money go? Does it go to the other studios? That's still not as much money as if somebody bought some of those games. Like, at some point I was going to, even if it was on sale, I was going to buy Lies of P, probably for $20, and somebody would have made at least a little money that was at least somewhat meaningful. But now they make fractions of fractions of fractions of that, because that is one of many games that I'm playing for like $15 a month. So one game would have been $20 on sale. This is dozens and dozens of games for $15 a month.
And so what I'm proposing today...
I have zero understanding of how that makes any financial sense to anybody.
What I'm proposing today is that we institute universal basic income and nationalize Netflix and Spotify, YouTube. There's probably some other ones. We really only need a music streaming service, a video streaming service, a movie streaming service.
I don't know if you could pick a singular movie or music one, but I do think if you nationalize YouTube, so it's just in the way that the internet of just, this is your right to have this as the marketplace of ideas.
And then, because you have universal basic income, people can make the thing that they want, and it goes up on the government-owned streaming service. And then everybody can have it. And so you can make what you want.
Yeah. But how do the YouTubers get paid if there's no money?
It's universal basic income.
I guess if they already have enough to live.
Now, presumably, if you need to, like, spend money to make a thing, you could apply for a grant and, like, get an art grant to do that. So probably the AAA, a video game streaming service too. Like the AAA stuff would potentially
Twitch?
Not get in there. The big Hollywood movies and stuff that wouldn't. But it would mean that people could make actual art, things that they're passionate about.
And not just, that's the other thing of the content mill. It's just like, there's millions and millions of hours of literally everything, not even video games, but just people playing video games, but other things of just like, I don't think I could get through it all. There's a YouTuber I like who makes content who just started like a Pokemon, it was like an Iron Man Nuzlocke. That is a 10-hour stream just from yesterday, amidst everything else on my subscription feed. And will I watch all of it with a fine-tooth comb? Fuck no. But it's just like, there is just a million hours of everything everywhere. There's a million hours of video games. There's a million hours of movies. There's a TV of YouTube of Let's Players and YouTube essays and all. Like, there is too much content, but it doesn't. This is the catch-22 the puzzle I haven't solved. There is too much content now, and everybody wants to make things because it's fun to make. We're making shit right now. We're a part of the problem.
Who? What?
Exactly. And I don't know how to solve that problem.
I don't think you need to solve that problem. I guess I
don't know how to come to terms with the fact that there's just too much stuff and most of it's crap comparatively.
Well, you have to have systems in place.
Not ours, of course.
That can properly correct algorithms that can like get people things that they'll actually be interested in. But I think the main problem is that for most people, if they want to make something that they're passionate about, they need to find a way to make money to do that.
Yeah.
Because if you don't make money, you can't live.
Yeah.
And a big part of that is healthcare.
Yes, correct.
Remove healthcare from employment. universal health care, if you also remove the even need to be employed with universal basic income, I mean, so many things are being automated at this point anyway. It's going to happen. Just get it done. Then suddenly you have a lot of people who they don't need extra fancy things. They don't need a job that's going to pay them significantly more than universal basic income. They can live comfortably on that and then make the thing that they want to make, because what they have now is time. And a lot of this stuff is you need time to make it.
Yeah, but now there's I agree with you to an extent, but some of that is, this is why I say, like, maybe not solved, but that I personally have come to a understanding on, is there is too much stuff. How do new people come in and make stuff in this place where there are too many things?
I mean, you just do it. Look at what we did.
Truth.
We started making this
out a little existence.
like 4 years ago. I think we're coming on 4 years.
Yep.
And we don't have a huge audience.
No.
We appreciate our audience.
Yes,
but
greatly
like,
so. Thank you. Like, genuinely, I know I'm slightly inebriated, and it sounds maybe a little fake, but, like, I'm also emotional because I'm inebriated. Like, thank you for listening. Whoever's listening, especially this episode, who's ever made it this far. Like,
but that's the key, is we don't need hundreds of thousands of listeners.
No.
Because we're making this, but we're making this because it's fun.
Yeah.
This is our hobby.
We have jobs, so we can make this for fun. We don't have to rely upon this as a numeric stream.
But then that goes on to, we don't need a huge audience because we're not trying to make money off of it. This is the template for that world that I want, where you can just make stuff.
I want to split the... Okay. I think the terms I need to come to with what you've just told me is that I want the world to split the difference between I want to make this because this is what I want to make and the content mill.
Yeah. Because
it's like, we increased how much we made. We put an episode out every week now. Sometimes twice now. This one will assuredly go along with some other Shonen Jumping the Gun, I'm sure, if it makes it to the stream, which I think it will now. I think this has been going pretty well, even though it's a bit intense. I'd probably put a later recorded sober warning on the front of this and going like,
that doesn't exist.
Yeah, but like, it would be really funny if this dropped in the same week as Nana and Keiru, and it's just like, hey, if you've got sensibilities, don't listen to either of these episodes. But I would just love to be able to... I don't know what that world looks like. I don't know if there's a difference between that. Because, like, again, like, the dude that made that 10-hour stream, like, I mean, he doesn't have a job right now, so, like, that's what he's doing for his money right now.
But there are people who are watching that.
He likes... Yeah, there was people in that stream the entire day it was happening. I wanted to watch it, and I just didn't. And I might at some point just put it on the background, but it's just, like...
I think
the sheer amount of time of stuff being made.
And the main problem is people like you, and to me, to some extent, who go FOMO, who go, but there's all this stuff that I want to consume. I have over 1,100 videos on my Watch Later playlist on YouTube.
Yeah.
I continue, and multiple other playlists that I've put other things onto.
Yeah.
I have so much stuff that I'm like, I want to watch this. I'm not watching it right now. And it's just piled up for years.
Yeah.
And I won't let it go, and I keep adding stuff to it.
Because there's, like, that is the problem and the magic joy of now is that the bar for entry to making things is lower than it has ever been, which also means there's an infinite slurry of things. So to find the things that speak to you are so hard. And maybe this is just my fucking boomer heart pining sometimes for the days of the monoculture when there wasn't as many things.
Yeah.
But also the world is... I don't know what it looks like to grow up when the monoculture is dead.
But I think that's what it is.
But I think
that's what we came from.
It's probably better that is because you get to slide... Like, there's a certain extent that you get to slide in your interests more, but also there's a certain extent that you have less in common with everybody else directly around you.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that means yet. I'm going to probably be an old person by the time I have to, like, truly experience what that means for society. For right now, the answer is, I don't fucking know. I don't want to have boomer takes where I say my childhood was the best one because it was mine. Because that's fucking stupid and I hate that, even if I'm drawn to it sometimes.
I think what has to happen, and this is something that I've been trying to work on, is there has to come a point where you just let it go. Where you go, you know what? As much as I might think that this is something that I want to see, I know for a fact I'm never going to watch it.
Yes,
which is why
correct.
I removed the entirety of the Team 4-Star DBZ abridged commentary that I had on the backlog.
Those are great.
Because there was like 45 half-hour episodes.
I was watching them as they came out, so it was a lot more. Put this on when you're driving to work. Those are really good driving ones.
But
you
I
don't
went
need the visuals that much because you've already seen them before.
I looked at that list and I was like,
but I respect it.
I'm never going to watch these, so I removed them. And I have to build up to that every time. I'm at some point, I'm going to start removing stuff that's been on there for 4 years.
Hell yeah, if this has sparked joy. I think I have to accept it in reality, and I think I have to accept, and I will, I can say this right now, like, for all this stuff we make it because we want to. We are making this episode right now because I said I wanted to do a drunken episode of Pop Culture Talk Zone. Maybe, I don't know if I said specifically Pop Culture Talk Zone, where I get drunk and just go, like, this system doesn't fucking work. And I'm tired of it, and it was drunk so I could lower that barrier, because normally I don't like talking about it because it makes me depressed. And I don't like feeling depressed and angry that the world is broken, and I feel so powerless being able to do anything about it. So I guess my strike against this and the slurry of content is that despite the fact that this will come out with 2 things this week, and that we have a Shonen Jumping the Gun every week, I love making those. Those are things that are meaningful to me. I'm not making those to make money. I'm making those because I like fucking sitting here with my friend Brad and making podcasts talking about things that are important to me.
Even though I just did an ad read earlier.
Fucking cry if I keep going on this manifesto-style talking spree. And I that's all I think your thing is giving up, but also, like, I have to cling to the fact that the things that I am making, that I can look inside, sell out or otherwise, and go, these are the things I want to make. I'm never making something because I feel like I have to make it. I'm making it because I feel like I want to. Except when we cover new Shonen Jump chapters, I feel obligated on that, but in a way that I'm holding the razor to my own throat instead of capitalism doing that, because I know there's no money involved. Technically.
It's a goal. It's not a requirement.
That's a means of keeping me humble. But like I said, this one and whatever the fuck the Bakubanashi that we will record shortly, because I feel like we're coming to an end of this now that we're getting to the moral of the story that we found amidst this chaos.
Speaking of not doing things for money,
yeah,
I'd like to thank our patrons.
They're not board members, but they kind of are, but they're not. They like the things that we were making. This is one of the things I love about Patreon. There's so many times I feel like creators are bending over backwards to go, what can I give you on Patreon? And so many times it's like, I just want to give you money for you to keep living and making the thing that I want. I don't need all the extra shit, because usually the extra shit's garbage. Just give me... Not our extra shit. Our section is bonus episodes. There's some good stuff in there. No joke. That's not me fucking blowing smoke up your ass.
Our 2 highest tiers are just for people to say, look how much I support them.
I want to support these homies, and I'm about that. That's what I like about, there's one, I had a belt tightening that I probably don't need to tighten as much anymore, and admittedly went down to the one that it's like, okay, I really like their bonus content they release on a monthly, but like,
although,
by and large, I give people money because I like what they're doing.
I will say,
I want them to keep making the thing that's available to everybody.
We don't have anybody at the 2 highest tiers yet.
We don't, what even are they?
We will have some extra special stuff for the people who sign up for that.
Okay.
And this is where I will mention, we do have a goal for Patreon.
Yes.
We need to get a couple, like 10 extra bucks or whatever, so we can release the high quality version on the regular feed.
That'd be exciting. You would do, not that you have to care about my well-being, but you do me a great service that Thursday when I'm walking at the park in between work and the gym and I listen to the new Shonen Jumping the Gun episode, that it'll be in high quality, and I would appreciate that. So both for you and me collectively, and probably Brad when he listens to it in his car.
Everybody's like, wait a minute, why don't you have the high quality stuff?
Because then I'd have to download it and put it on my phone, and that's too much work for me.
It's on YouTube.
Then I'd have to stream it from my phone in a park instead of downloading it in my home in the morning.
You can download YouTube videos.
Brad, just give me this one for once, even if you are right. We gotta land this plane. So,
Let's
I guess...
crash this plane.
Crash, capitalism. There we go.
Yeah, that works.
That works. The capitalism makes me sad on the daily.
All I'm saying, you don't have to be a communist, but maybe a little.
want to say anything anymore. I just want that to abruptly end the episode.
It's fine by me.
Cool.
Oh, but
This will go after the beeps.
patrons.
Oh yes, sorry. Cut patrons in earlier when you say our patrons.
We do have things that we say at the end.
Okay.
Like we say.
So cut it at when you say that and have silence. Don't even play the outro theme, and then have it cut back in when you just said we have patrons. We talk about things we talk about at the end.
So we have other series that we do.
We do.
Which this is a weird one. We haven't done one of these in a while.
This is my old baby.
So for anybody who's listening to this that hasn't listened to our other episodes, since this one's sort of out there, it might pick up a different audience. Check out our other shows.
Go back. This one's a little bit more angry and drunken, but I definitely feel like this fits in the oeuvre. And also, it's been a year and change, and the world has gotten shittier in certain ways that we talked about. So I feel like it's very fitting that we are both inebriated and more pissed.
But let's see. So we got Shonen Jumping the Gun.
Yes.
That's our weekly series where we cover the first episode of a manga.
The first chapter of a manga. Sometimes more, maybe. I don't know. That might be a spoiler alert for future episodes that haven't been recorded yet, even though there's a billion episodes that have already been recorded.
First chapter page count.
There we go.
We've got Bakabanashi, which there'll be one next week.
Yes, we are recording directly after this because I wanted Brad to give me something fun to do while I was drunk after we recorded this very depressing episode.
We got Heroin Addiction. Heroin Addiction.
Yeah.
Ben and I, we cover romance and drama manhwa. That's a good time. Our next episode of Heroin Addiction is our Recommender special.
Ooh.
I think by the time this comes out, we will have picked one. So, but if you sign up,
you got them recommended, or you're recommending them?
They were recommended to us.
Exciting.
If you sign up on Patreon, all of the tiers get to vote on those polls. So make sure you get signed up for that for the next time. And then we have the regular show, which is in a weird limbo state right now. We're figuring out what we're going to do with that.
Figuring it out.
But we'll do something with that at some point in the future.
We'll have a more in-depth discussion about manga and anime in Japan at some point. That I can promise you that. What form it will take, I cannot promise you, but that it will happen, I can promise you.
But in the meantime, we got all that other stuff. Oh, and of course, the most important thing, Anime Podcaster Speed Date.
Anime Podcaster Speed Date.
That's a new thing we did.
That's a new thing we are very excited about.
And
excited to make more of.
We're going to get more guests and do that some more because it was a good time. Mm-hmm. So subscribe or whatever, I guess.
Subscribe to this feed.
You can subscribe.
Subscribe to our Patreon. Let's shout out our patrons. If you subscribe to our Patreon, you get a shout out. I think at any tier, right?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
For now. Since we don't have a ton of patrons, we shout out everybody. In the future, when we have a lot of patrons,
when we get big, we will forget the little people.
We'll figure out what to do.
I'm knocking bottles over.
We'll figure out what to do.
We got it. We got your back.
We got our Reincarnator tier, which has Cake Dwarf and Moon.
Yeah.
And our Commoner tier, which has Kill Hour and Rena.
Hell yeah.
So thank you so much to all our patrons.
Thank you for our patrons.
Who all get to listen to the bonus episodes that's going to be coming out in a couple weeks.
Also correct. And the high def thing, the high def episodes.
Those, they get early.
Also, come to our Discord. You can talk to us directly. We're quite populous in there. And you don't even need to be a patron. If I like you and you suggest something for Shonen Jumping the Gun, and probably if your name is Last of the Red Road, we will probably read it one day. I will put it on the list, or say I will read it and then forget about it, but not in a malicious way.
I think that's everything.
Yeah.
If you didn't put your foot in your mouth, you're not gonna.
I was getting close there. I don't remember how we ended Pop Culture Talk Zones.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't remember. I didn't re-listen to those old episodes.
Do they have an ending?
Fuck capitalism. All the homies say fuck capitalism. also hydrated. Oh my goodness! It makes you sound so dignified, even though it's literally just rum and glass and ice in a glass. But it sounds like super dignified, super classy. I'm gonna Google it.
I'm blanking on that name.
Yeah, I'm gonna Google it while attempting to. I forgot the last thing I searched on my phone attempting to find that other anime was horny gambling anime to find its intro. It's Kakaguri. Even if I wasn't drunk, I'd have a hard time. Why is Kakaguri so inappropriate? Google says. Accurate. Very weirdly horny. Weirdly horny. At least in the context that I watched it, I enjoyed it. If I watched it with Brad, don't know how I'd feel about it. But at the time watching it with some people who I would describe maybe as squares, I had a grand old time with it for its horniness.